So yeah, but I'll start. My name's Jesse. I'm a founder at NewMetric. Basically, NewMetric is a company that runs all the infra for Initia currently. Like today, L1 RPC, L2 RAS, everything we do. Huh? Yeah. So basically, that's what we do. So we research group that focuses on scaling blockchain infrastructure to plus infinity, positive infinity. So what that means is so, day-to-day business, we set up nodes, we set up like whatever blockchain, but then we all like almost always like run into this scaling problems of like, hey, our RPC isn't able to handle the incoming traffic or whatnot, the bridge is not working. We don't just run it, but we do work on the code patches that makes your blockchain software more efficient to run. So naturally, we do a lot of like RPC, like ARCs, like RPC, RAS for Initia, and a lot of like code-based researches as well. So I don't know if it works though.
Just project.
Okay. Like I said, we don't just run the node as it. Yeah. So we actually get to do something about the code itself to make it actually high performance. That means we don't just run your node as is, we change something in it, right? So, software patches, the boring stuff like concurrency, performance, whatever. That's our forte. Just, outsource all of those to us because our performance is about, 73 times like better in terms of like how scalable it actually is. And then it is 99.9% compatible with the underlying Cosmos base system. That means like about any blockchain out there that's built on top of Cosmos plus Initia, everything is all compatible. So it's like designed to be like drop-in replacement. So, you can just come talk to me if you want. Hey,
Can you tell me why Cosmos SDK is so bad?
that's a long story, but
Even TLDR.
okay. Do you know what mutex is?
Mutex is like you get a lock on something.
Right.
That change data.
Right. So there's a lock in a way that any RPC call or any transaction, like running the transaction, acquires something we call lock, right? That means Cosmos SDK is able to do only one thing at a time. So let's say your RPC query, a single query takes like 10 seconds. That means your node is blocked out for 10 seconds. It cannot even do anything in terms of consensus. It cannot even handle any other stuff. The changes we made we made Cosmos actually concurrent. So, on any given time, if you have, let's say, 1 million requests coming in, our node is designed to be able to actually handle million requests like at the same time. So that's the biggest change, I'd say. What does that put in?
So
Okay.
most Cosmos chains just don't get the traffic where they need that.
No, it cannot. So the only way to like what foundations usually do is they set up multiple nodes, let's say 10, 20, to just handle the RPC like ingress. But then at the same time, like it's unnecessarily costly, right? Because the cost for running 20 nodes is probably like not really efficiently spent. If you had a solution that is able to handle all this volume, any volume of traffic as one node, that would be more efficient. So that's what we do mostly. We actually do something about mempool as well. So when you broadcast a transaction, I don't know if you've been there, but there's some lag or performance tax in the volume of transactions that's coming into your node. So we also fixed that, and improved it by like 360%. And the benefit is benefit of this all concurrent architecture is our nodes actually get to stay in front of the chain almost always. Like I said, 100%, but it's really, 100%. So it doesn't really get behind the sink. And I'm just winging it. I'm just winging it. So yeah, almost always stays in front of the chain. So it never sort of lags behind the sink. I think we all been there where your node is like behind the sink, so you cannot quite use it for RPC purposes. We don't have that problem. So that's what we built. Next up is Initia. So in case you don't know what Initia is, basically I copied the text from the the landing page. Yeah. Binding a highly interwoven system of modular networks through architectural ownership of the L1 orchestration layer, L2 network, and the communication protocol. Comes with universal consistency, whatever, guided sovereignty, multi-VM. So this is my like interpretation of it. Like simply put, what Initia allows is for you to spin up a rollup, right? Basically, it's a rollup. Any Initia is a rollup that comes equipped with either Move or Cosmosm or EVM from day one. So when you set up a like Initia, it's out of the city. And then the good thing about it is, like, this is particularly why I'm bullish about Initia, is that it comes with all the batteries like included from day one. So all the boring stuff like bridging, all the boring stuff like coordinating with wallet, what has to be uploaded to somewhere, I don't know, to make your L2 exposed to the world. Initia, like, as far as I know, has thought of that like for like 2 years, right? So they actually tried something to make the onboarding procedure a lot easier. So really, all you got to do is just spin up a rollup. That's it. Probably you got to register it to wallet, which I'm going to demo just in a minute. But that process is quite simple. So you can start building today. And this is what I believe in, sovereignty by code. So unlike other rollups, what Initia allows is basically get you to, like, you actually get to change something about the chain itself. Like, unlike Optimism or Arbitrum or other EVM sort of centric rollups, they pretty much run the same software underneath, and then the only thing you get to change is the contract you deploy on top of it. Whereas Initia, it being Cosmos SDK chain, just as in a rollup fashion, you actually get to dictate what is the rule in this particular rollup that you just put out. And then tweak something about staking, tweak something about, I don't know, how bridging how bridge works, what is the token emission. You actually get to change something by code. And that level of ultimate customizability is like definitely the selling point of Initia.
You can change all that, does it make it really hard to deploy?
Well, if you were to do it yourself, that would be somewhat difficult, I'd say, because like you gotta now care about all these code differences, test it, something like that. But we're just gonna demo it for a bit. Basically, we're doing RAS for Initia, where you have some changes in your code. Let's say there's a branch on GitHub. You can directly deploy from that GitHub branch to our RAS service. That means, we don't just get to run base Minimove, for example. We actually let you fork Minimove, do something about it, deploy that modified Minimove to us, so that at this point, I like to say it's basically like a Vercel of blockchain or rollup in general. So all that stuff is what we do. So Initia, great. NewMetric, great. So let's see. So Initia is a multi-chain garden of Eden. I don't know what that means, but sounds cool. Yeah, so starting in Initia journey now. I don't know if you noticed, but the title of this workshop is 10-minute journey of Initia, whatever, right? Yeah. Thanks. I didn't say it. No, yeah. So what I'm going to demo now, basically, NewMetric, we have a dashboard where you can basically deploy Initia. Just like think about Conway or Caldera, which has like a more of an EVM-centric RAS solution. We are that, but for Initia. So, well, basically, the first thing you see after you're signing up with our dashboard is this. Just simply there's a new button under a very sophisticated product name called Maze. I don't know why I named it Maze, but Maze is our product name for this rollup deployment.
It's very simple.
It is not very simple internally. That's why. So all you gotta do. So today, I don't know if it's like mini event out. Probably it's not yet. Yeah, it's not. So we support Minimove and Minimalism. These are the latest version of each variant. So first thing you want to do is choose which variant of Minimove you want to deploy, right? Just select it. And the next thing you want to do is set chain ID. I'm gonna call it, I don't know, no sleep. 1. Okay.
He's 0.
Token denomination, you sleep. Let's call it you sleep. So Initia requires you to have like a number of system keys, like validators, bridges, everything. We basically pre-create them for you. Well, this is sort of exposed to you over the internet because we're on testnet. But like on mainnet, we will figure out how to like give you the keys basically securely, right?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, and then you can also, add some user accounts to Genesis just by clicking something, and then it will also give you the keys. This is generated on the website itself, so you can just copy and download your spec of the deployment. So next thing you want to do is basically decide whether you want to have Oracle or not. Like I said, Initia, the good thing about Initia is like, batteries included. One of those batteries is Oracle, right? All the L2s are going to be able to receive the Oracle feed from L1 directly from L1 because L1 happens to have Oracle feed for all sorts of different like tokens, right? It's powered by Skip Go, I think recently rebranded. Skip Connect, was it? Yeah, Skip Connect. Basically, by clicking this on, you will get a live feed from L1 to L2 so that your L2 has exposure to like almost real time, I'd say just real time Oracle feeds. So that's great. For this demo, I'm not going to do it because it'll complicate things a bit more.
It works, I swear.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we are running about 6 Initias right now, or 5 on our cluster. 2 of them are using Oracle, and then it's working great. So it's working. We deliberately sort of not have further like advanced customizations and like, for example, like some parameters in staking, whatever. We don't have that deliberately for testnet periods because we are still trying to find out what is it that people need to configure on the screen. But any parameter, like you can just set it later anyways, so that's fine. We'll just start a chain. I'll just deploy, save the spec of this deployment first, and then just click deploy. It'll take about 2 minutes, not 10 minutes. So when it's done, it'll give you, you can access the chain with RPC and REST URL just given here. We also have gRPC in case you want it. We plan to add the address to the gRPC here. When it's done, the current height, current timestamp, any like metadata will be visible on the dashboard. So
what's the REST URL?
REST is what we colloquially call LCD. So it's like, a chain may have many modules, right? Those modules define their own API interface. I don't know why we started calling it LCD, but it stands for Light Client Daemon. It is your gateway to accessing blockchain. Okay. Hey, come in. Hey, come in. No, that's all right. Let me just quickly check if it's really working, because I did check like 3 times before this, but just in case. Yeah. Wi-Fi. It'll work. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So until it's actually getting deployed, if you have any questions, now is a good time to ask. Yeah.
But when you enable the Oracle, like, do you have to pay Skip for the Oracle feed, or how does that work?
I think Zon's paying for it.
So our validators on the layer 1, they post data to the layer 1 every block, and that's just something they have to do through code extensions. So if they don't, they get slashed. And then there's a relaying system that relays those prices to the layer 2s. And on the layer 2s, there's a mempool prioritization system. So those Oracle updates will be automatically filtered to the top of the block. So even if there is congestion on your layer 2, the Oracle updates will still be fresh.
Yeah, so if you're talking about gas price on L2, because somebody needs to relay those payload to L2, right? L2, Initia is special in this way too. So all these operator keys, the system keys are basically gas exempt. So any ingress from L1 to, like, for example, like Oracle feed directly from L1 to L2 is basically free. Yeah, so it's just a matter of enabling, disabling it.
What about like the latency for the Oracle?
So the Oracle update, I think, is every layer 1 block time, which is about 1.5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then there's, of course, like duration at which, interval at which the relayer in between is running. I think it's about like second-ish, right? Was it? Yeah. Yeah. So like, obviously the Oracle duration is tied to how fast L1s can feed the Oracle itself, which is currently 3 seconds, I believe. So every 3 seconds, Oracle feed is updated, and 1 more second before it reaches L2.
If there is a demand for having Oracle data every layer 2 block, which is every 5 seconds, then you would have to pay skips additional dollars.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Oh, okay. I thought you were paying for it.
We're paying for it for the L1 stuff.
Okay.
But if you want on the layer 2 every block, then we have to work some math.
Okay.
But for almost any project, lending, whatever, this is fine. If you're doing something like perps, then it might make sense.
Yeah, I think Blackwing might need their own.
Right.
They're doing their own Oracle, was it? Right?
Yeah, I think Blackwing will be having skip feed directly to them.
Sounds great. So chain is now up. We're just checking whether this is really running. It's running. Well, that's the standard way of checking what is the current height of your chain, basically at /status. It is working. You also have the full API interface to your chain. So things like, I don't know, params. You can check. So it's fully working. So it's now up. It's running. What you now want to do is register your chain to Initia wallet, basically. Like I said, Initia wallet from day one is sort of designed to onboard L2s like as easily as possible. So all you gotta do is just copy this chains.json under here and go to wallet. It's so dark. Well, so there are 2 ways of adding your chain to the wallets. The first, this way is more manual. So this is useful when you just want to test things out, right? So you have local deployments, you have test deployments on our cluster. We just provide you with all the information needed to register your chain directly on wallet. The more official way would be to go through the Initia registry. So registry will be something like, registry will be something like a bunch of files that describes what your chain is, like where your chain is located at, what is the chain ID, what is the token denomination, etc. But right now, we don't want to go through the registry step because it needs to review and stuff like that. So we're just going to submit. So just like that, ignore all this MS, whatever. Your chain is registered. Right now, what I want to do is, as a user on L1, Initia L1, right? I want to transfer some token from L1 to L2 to see if the bridging is really established from day one.
So you establish all the bridging and IBC relayers as well?
So deploying deployments on our stack doesn't mean we are just deploying the sequencer itself. We also deploy all the necessary bots, sidecars, everything all together. So there's OP bots as well as IBC relayer will automatically set up. So you can do, So this is basically me saying, hey, I want to transfer some token from my wallet to No Sleep One, the chain we just spin up, and then we'll probably send like 10 in it, right? It's from the Wi-Fi. Yeah, okay. Wi-Fi. Yeah. Come on, wallet. Yeah. So you now see token transfer to No Sleep One, and then given that there's a lot of contracts actually deployed on this L2, you can interact with all the L2s and whatnot. You can also transfer these tokens back to L1, which had gone through a lot of changes like recently. I don't know what the changed narratives are, but usually there are two ways. I don't know if you were to explain it, that'll be more helpful.
Sure, yeah, there's two ways to, well, it depends. So, in Cosmos, there's IBC. You can IBC a token directly to a layer 2 and IBC it back down. But if you go through something like the optimistic bridge, there typically be a 7-day settlement window. And so we built this thing called Minute Swap, which allows you to bridge optimistically bridge tokens back down to the layer 1 instantly for a small fee. And so you could wait the 7 days if those tokens go through the optimistic bridge, or you could use Minute Swap and take the small fee and bridge instantly. If you bridge that token through IBC originally to the layer 2, then you would be able to bridge it instantly down to layer 1 as well without Minute Swap.
Would it be close to, so Minute Swap, would it be close to, say, somebody purchasing on like token transfer that's not finalized yet, but then give you money advanced?
System where the person on the layer 1 can basically fund you and take the arbitrage of the 7-day settlement delay.
Like Stargate finance.
Yeah, Stargate. And so there's this Omni pool setup where you have the init layer 1 tokens pooled with the init equivalent across every layer 2. And then there's a bunch of parameters so that someone can rug all of the tokens. But that allows basically capital efficient markets, so you don't have to set up a pool between every layer 2 and the layer 1 token.
It's great. So easier to move tokens from L2 to L1. And it's optional, right? It's great. Yeah, so now the chain is set up. I won't probably try to deploy any contracts without I have something handy on this laptop, but proving my point, deployment is there. Takes about 2 minutes, and then you can directly register this chain within it, the Initia wallet. Obviously, the interface, everything, I still have a lot of backlogs for predefining this. It'll look better in the future, trust me.
How does it work to get standard rollups in the wallet besides your own development environment? Do you guys list them, chain registry?
Yeah, we have a chain registry similar to the Cosmos chain registry. Right. And if you put yours there with your logos, it'll just be default added. Yes.
So you go to testnet. These are the list of all the other rollups that are already on testnet. So go to Blackwing, the chain JSON, which has a lot more detail in it. We will provide all this detailed information as well. But then basically this format is exactly the same as the Cosmos registry, I believe. Even Cosmos registry can use it, right? So Kepler, whatever other wallets can support your LT as well. Yeah. So that was a brief demo. If you want to try it out, go to this address here, or just app.newmetric.xyz. We're still in closed beta. So what that means is upon signing up, you will be prompted to waitlist. But if you were to let me know of the user ID, I'll just let you in. Don't worry about it. It's to protect sudden surge. Imagine everyone deploying something. I cannot pay for that. So yeah. So let me know if you want to try something. So why deploy with us, right? Why deploy with us rather than deploying everything yourself? Well, usually people tend to think L2s or rollup nodes is sort of smaller or reduced version of L1, but it really is not. When it comes to operating the actual node, in this case, the sequencer, it's a bit more tricky to sort of keep the node up because the sequencer is like only a validator of your network. So if that node goes down, there's nothing. There's no blockchain at all. So that reliability and ops related stuff, you can probably outsource to us because we do that part really well. Also, it comes with the best-in-class RPC. So like I said, all the performance-related tunings we made, you can sort of add that RPC, the high-performance RPC, as an add-on later. So what that means is you deploy just a sequencer now, but then if you feel like, hey, I'm going to need a better RPC for my million users, you can just add the better RPC. So that's the thing we support, and it's all automatic. So you just click a button, we're gonna set up everything for you. Performance difference, full node usually, this is like apples to apples comparison. Full node, let's say it does about 750 requests per second. Our one node can do about 17 times more, and then it scales from there linearly. So for example, Initia testnet on the first week, there was a time when the aggregate requests per second was like 130K-ish. We handled all of it just without any trouble. So, it's performant. Sovereignty by code. Like I said, you can just git push your code base to us. We're going to provide you with the actual Git address later. But this makes our platform more like a Vercel for Initia. So whatever changes you have, whatever like dev branches you have, you can push to us and then deploy it right away. So that's another feature that other RAS don't really provide, but needed for Initia. That's a good thing. We also have a little product called Cradle. So Cradle, what it allows you to do is fork a running network into a dedicated testnet. And this is all done in SaaS fashion. So you just come up on our dashboard, go to, I don't know, fork, say Juno, for example. You click deploy. It'll take about a minute, but then basically it is a fork of the actual mainnet locked at this specific height. What that gives you is an ultimate testing bed where, hey, because what you want to test is like whether your next version of code is compatible with the mainnet state, right? Or the sequencer state.
This is not something that exists in Cosmos right now, right? Like everyone that tests stuff spins up basically a fresh chain, redeploys their shit, and then tests against that.
Either that, or I think since Cosmos v50, 0.50, there is a similar feature, but it's not like you can fork out of any height. Like you gotta start from a locally stored snapshot, and then you can only start like fork chain from there. The problem with that is like it writes back to the database. The database that you have locally is now the testnet only, not mainnet. So you got to do a lot of like manual planning and how to have what version of snapshot locally. This doesn't have that problem. So, I just spun up a fork at whatever height. I can spin up another if I want. Let's say we go back in time, something like that. Like you can just actually go back in time and then, create on-demand fork of any height. This is particularly useful for rollups because rollups don't tend not to have testnets, right? And I believe mainnet is the only correct testnet because that's where all the liquidity is. That's where all the users are. Without this, you're just testing with fake parameters, right? You don't want that. You can use it. We have all the support from day one. So, when you deploy with us, this is all the feature you get. That's it. So, thank you.